What is up? Welcome back to Life from Mars. I am here. I am back with more vegan content today for you guys. I'm very excited today. I'm going to be telling you all about how you can make your favorite foods vegan. Yes. All right. So this video, I'm super excited. I wanted to do this video because I want to show you guys how you can still be eating your favorite foods and the things that you already love to eat and how you can just make slight adjustments to make them vegan. I'm talking pizza, I'm talking burgers, I'm talking about all the things that you know and love. All right. For those of you guys who don't know me, welcome to my channel. I'm very, very glad to have you here. I hope you'll consider watching some other videos and maybe even hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. I do make all sorts of content, not just vegan content, but veganism is something that I'm really, really passionate about. So I have been vegan for about 3.5 years now. I absolutely love vegan life. And I actually just made a video about the top 10 things that you need to know before being vegan. It's kind of a guide to all things vegan. So if you want to watch that video, I'll also put the link up here so you can check that out as well. But I wanted to make this video to show you guys how it's not as hard as you think to go vegan, how you don't have to completely change your diet 100%, and how you can still eat your favorite foods and get those same cravings kind of covered, I guess, on a vegan diet, all right? I think that there's this big misconception that if you go vegan, you're just gonna be eating a bunch of salads or a bunch of just bland, gross food, and that you're just gonna have to give up all of the comfort food or all the things that you loved and, all of these foods that you're just not willing to give up. And I think that that's something that holds so many people back. All right, so let's get started. So the first meal we are going to be talking about is pizza pie, all right? The favorite. Everyone loves pizza. I feel like that's like a stereotypical fave of so many people, right? I mean, it's pizza. I know I don't have to explain how iconic pizza is. And I know that people love pizza, right? I get it. I love pizza too. Just for what it's worth, I did not grow up vegan, okay? I grew up eating for the vast majority of my life, except the last 3.5 years, eating completely normal American diet. I had pizza with cheese, pepperoni, all the whole thing, I ate completely normal animal product based. So I understand the love for pizza. I understand, all right? I truly get it. So how can you make pizza vegan? Let's talk about it. So let's talk about what makes up a pizza, right? Let's try to think about it. So obviously you have the crust, right? That's the first thing. Now, the biggest thing with the crust is that you just want to try to make sure the crust does not contain eggs, okay? And before I even go into all of the details, I just want to say, you really have a couple of choices when it comes to vegan pizza. One, you can go to a place that can make you a vegan pizza. That is a very easy option. I can think of a couple options just off the top of my head, like Pyology. I know they're a pizza chain and they offer a bunch of vegan options. And honestly, most of the time, even just local pizza parlors will have a way for you to make a vegan pizza, whether they have vegan cheese or, they have a vegan sauce that doesn't have any cream or anything like that. Most of the time, the pizza dough, I feel like will be vegan, but I mean, it's worth asking. But if you are making it yourself or, let's just say buying it at the grocery store, that's something you maybe want to look for. So if you're buying it at the grocery store, it really can be as simple as turning that sucker around and reading real quick, does this have eggs? I know that Amy's, they make really, really good dairy-free pizzas. They're super delicious. And there's a couple of brands. Honestly, I mean, I don't really think I've ever tasted a vegan pizza that I didn't like. It just kind of depends on your preference. There's vegan pizzas that you can buy that are frozen, that you just pop in the oven that have pepperoni. There's meat lovers that have vegan sausages and vegan pepperoni and cheese and the whole thing. There's vegetable lovers. There's some that are made out of gluten-free crust like cauliflower. There are just so many unlimited options, just like regular pizza, But obviously, I think that one of the best ways to make vegan pizza is to make it yourself, right? That way you can make it however you want. You can include whatever toppings your little heart desires and you can personally perfect your own pizza, okay? So how would you go about doing that? So yes, the first thing would be that you find your dough. Most of the time you can find already pre-made pizza crust. They sell that at pretty much all of the major grocery stores. So if you want to save yourself some time, I probably would recommend just buying a pizza crust and putting the stuff on top of that. if you want to make the dough, you can go ahead. You can just look up vegan pizza dough on Pinterest, on Google, and you'll find a ton of recipes. But I mean, if you're not trying to go through all that effort, I would say the easiest way to make your own vegan pizza is just to buy the crust. But like I said, just turn it over, make sure it doesn't have milk and eggs, and it's really as simple as that. And most of the time, they probably won't anyway, okay? The next step after that would be the sauce, right? So sauce is pretty self-explanatory. You just get whatever pizza sauce or just spaghetti sauce, like tomato sauce, or even a pesto or whatever you want. The only thing is, yeah, just make sure that it doesn't have milk. Some of the more creamier based sauces, like let's just say Alfredo, or also some pestos, maybe a vodka sauce, things like that, those are all probably going to have milk unless it specifically states that it's dairy-free or vegan. Now, there are dairy-free and vegan alternatives that you can buy. So if you're wanting to make a vodka pizza, by all means, just make sure that the vodka sauce does not have milk or cream, okay? So that's pretty much the only thing to look out for with the sauces. After that, it's literally just whatever you want with the toppings. So what do you usually like on your pizza, you know? If you're someone that likes meat products like pepperoni or sausage or, you know, things like that, you can find vegan alternatives to that as well, okay? So if you go to the grocery store, usually 99% of the time, they have like a small section that's for all the vegan food, especially the vegan frozen food. It's literally just like one section of the fridge is usually where they have all the vegan like meat protein options. So most of the time, I know that at least like you can find that at Trader Joe's, at Sprouts, Albertsons, Walmart, Whole Foods, places like that. So if you're somebody who likes that, just throw that in your cart also when you're at the grocery store, and you can have your pepperoni dreams, all right? So also let's talk about cheese. So cheese is a big thing. I think that's something that's very difficult, especially for a lot of people who are trying to go vegan. A lot of people just, you know, they really struggle with the idea of giving up cheese, and I don't blame you. Fun fact, actually, cheese has something in it called casomorphins. So casomorphins actually are a molecule that attach to the same receptors in your brain as heroin, okay? And cheese is actually more addicting than morphine, all right? So cheese is extremely addicting, and yeah, that's kind of why your brain craves it and why it's something that's very hard for people to let go of when they first go vegan. But I promise you, after some time, you're not gonna feel as addicted, and you're not even gonna probably crave it at all. So as far as cheese, there's two ways to go, okay? So you can go no cheese, and personally, sometimes I just like to go that route. I've gotten to the point now where I don't really need cheese on a pizza, like it kind of doesn't really do anything for me. But if you're somebody who's just transitioning, you might still want it. So in that case, there's a couple of brands that I would recommend. So there's Diet Cheese. Diet Cheese is pretty good. I really like their slices, and sometimes like the Diet brand pizzas are really good, but for some reason, I'm not really a big fan of the shredded cheese. Now there is a brand called Follow Your Heart, and I love their cheese, okay? So their cheese is actually made out of cashew milk, I think. Typically, I personally usually prefer either almond milk, cashew milk, or coconut milk based cheese alternatives, okay? So again, you're gonna buy it with the same little vegan area. They usually will have the vegan cheeses, and you can buy whichever one you like. They usually have different kinds. There's mozzarella, there's cheddar, you know, whatever kind they usually prefer. Obviously, usually on a pizza, you put mozzarella. So you can literally just buy the mozzarella shredded cheese. They also even sell like the actual like, you know, like whole mozzarella, like the classic mozzarella. So if you want to put like little blocks of it, make like kind of a margarita pizza. You can also buy the slices if you just kind of want to cover it. Whatever your heart desires, once again, okay? Whatever you want on your dream pizza, all right? So after the meat and the cheese products, that's where it gets very easy because we're just talking about vegetables, right? And of course, all vegetables are vegan. And of course, all fruits. Maybe you're someone that likes pineapple on your pizza or something like that. Of course, by all means, you can put some pineapple, you know that's vegan, okay? Anything like olives, peppers, spinach, artichoke, I don't know, what else do people like on pizzas? Whatever you want, you can literally put on top. So it's really that simple. So the keys to really vegan pizza are just that you want to make sure that the dough is egg-free and of course milk-free, but usually you're only worrying about eggs. You want to make sure the sauce is dairy-free and just like a regular sauce that does not have any cream, or that is specifically a dairy-free creamy sauce. And you want to make sure that the cheese and the meat are vegan alternatives. So again, it's going to taste very similar. In cases of the meat, it's probably going to taste exactly the same. In cases of the cheese, you might notice slight of a difference depending on what kind of brand you get. Vegan cheese is kind of like sometimes a hit or miss, but I don't know. I feel like it's really you still get that whole fix of the cheese and it still gets that same texture and flavor profile. So, you know, it's kind of like you can just test it out. Again, some people might prefer not to do cheese. Some people prefer maybe to do cheese. Now I kind of don't even care. I like it both ways. But yeah, that is pretty much how you can make a vegan pizza. All right, guys, let's move on to the next food. So the next fan favorite food that I'm going to be teaching you how to make vegan is sushi. Yes, so obviously, I know sushi's a banger. You know, again, it's one of those classic foods, right? Like you sometimes just get cravings for it, or at least I know I do. If you're someone that likes sushi, you probably do get that feeling. Sushi is so good. Obviously, you know, traditionally sushi is fish, of course, typically raw fish, but sometimes it even has chicken or cooked fish or whatever have you. There's obviously so many different ways to make sushi. For this case, I'm talking specifically about sushi rolls. Typically, when you make a sushi roll, what is it going to have? It's going to have seaweed, it's going to have white sushi rice, and it is going to have all of the innards that you want to put inside. Sometimes it might be fried, sometimes you might put a sauce on it like eel sauce or sriracha sauce, which by the way, eel sauce is vegan. It's actually just soy sauce with sugar. So don't worry about that. It's not made out of real eels. But you know, maybe you like ginger, maybe you like wasabi. There's a lot of different things that you can add to your sushi. Again, depending on your preferences, right? So of course, if you are vegan, you are not eating fish, right? So that is pretty much the main thing that you are trying to substitute when it comes to vegan sushi. So it's honestly actually pretty simple. So the only difference between sushi and vegan sushi is that you don't put fish in vegan sushi. So think about all of the other things that you put in sushi, right? Usually you'd maybe put cucumber, avocado, maybe you could would put cream cheese. In that case, you could put vegan cream cheese. You might put carrots, sweet potato, maybe eggplant. I mean, there's honestly so many different things that you can put in sushi. If you like it spicy, maybe you do some kind of peppers, jalapenos, maybe even bell peppers. It really just completely kind of depends on your own preference. Honestly, I think the best way is just kind of think about what sushi rolls you usually like and think about what's in it and how you could get those flavors without the fish, okay? And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, guys, like it gives you that exact fix. Like when you put it in your mouth with like the rice and the seaweed and all of the vegetables and you dip it in some soy sauce and you know, you have some sriracha, you have some eel sauce or whatever, maybe even spicy mayo if you use vegan mayo, like whatever you like. When you do all of that, it is going to give you that same fix regardless if it has fish, okay? Yes, you're not going to taste fish, obviously. You know, you're not going to get a big bite of shrimp. You're not going to get a big bite of crab. If you want, you can buy vegan fish. They literally have like vegan smoked salmon, vegan tuna, vegan like crab, different things like that, even vegan shrimp. But it's kind of up to you if you want to go to that extent, right? So usually personally when I make vegan sushi, because I do honestly crave it sometimes, I usually just buy the vegan sushi rice, which all rice is vegan, obviously, but I buy the white sushi rice. That's very important when you're making sushi. You need to get sushi rice so it's sticky. So you get the sushi rice, you get the nori sheets, which is the seaweed. So you need the big seaweed sheets, and you just need whatever things you want to put inside. So I usually put some of those vegetables that I just listed, and I kind of just mess with the different combinations. Now, what you have to do is you lay the nori down and the seaweed, and then you put the sushi rice on top. You don't want to put too much because then you won't be able to roll it completely up. You kind of lay a thin layer on top of the sushi with the rice, and then you just put in the center all of your little toppings, and then you slowly roll it, okay? And so you usually would use like a hot towel to lay it all on top so that you can roll it, and it's very easy to bend the seaweed because it's wet and it's kind of warm, so it's more pliable, you know what I mean? So you kind of roll underneath and then you just keep rolling. I don't know if that makes sense. It probably doesn't. But yeah, it's honestly very simple. As far as frying the sushi, you can definitely do that as well. Pretty much the only difference is that you just need to use an egg replacement and probably milk replacement in your like batter to actually fry the sushi. Of course, you can use like tempura, breadcrumbs. That's probably the most typical thing that's used when they fry sushi. And yeah, honestly, it's very easy. As far as egg substitute, you can use flaxseed with water, and that's called the flax egg. You can also use egg replacers. As far as milk, that's super easy. You just need any kind of plant-based milk. There's a billion different kinds. And I'd probably recommend for this kind of thing, when you're making anything savory, you usually want to do an unsweetened milk. So there's usually the unsweetened, the original, and maybe the vanilla. So you want to make sure that you're getting the unsweetened, or in the very least the original, because I know you don't want your sushi tasting like vanilla, I don't think, at least. You can obviously also put fruit in your sushi, so you can put like mangoes, apples, I mean really any kind of fruit. Like I've even seen banana sushi. Again, it's completely up to your preference, and what I usually like to do is just make all sorts of different kinds, and that is super delicious. And if you're not trying to make your vegan sushi, you really don't have to. Usually you can just like talk to sushi places and they have at least one vegetarian option, like one thing that doesn't have fish in it. You can also usually just kind of ask them. So you can just ask the sushi restaurant like, hey, do you think that you could just make this roll like without the fish? And usually they'll also be pretty accommodating to that. So it's just kind of up to you how you want to do it. You can even buy it sometimes just from like wherever you would buy already ready-made sushi, I guess, like convenience stores or grocery stores or whatever. It's really just about looking for it, you know? Like, I think that a lot of the times it's very easy to just be on autopilot. You don't even think about things having animal products. So sometimes it just takes looking a little bit deeper to try to see if they have any vegan sushi. All right, so the next fave food that we are going to be talking about are burgers. All right, so of course, burgers are a staple, right? Especially here in the United States. I know everyone is obsessed with burgers. Pretty much every single fast food place sells burgers. So obviously, the main thing with the burger is that you have your beef patty, right? Which is made from cow. So obviously that is not vegan because it is an animal product, it is meat. So how can you make a vegan burger? So a lot of people probably already are kind of aware of this. If anything, I think this is something that's probably one of the main vegan things that's coming to be a little bit more common. And that is that you need to use the vegan patty. So that can be a veggie patty. Sometimes they're made out of vegetables or grains like quinoa. Sometimes they're made out of things like black beans or maybe lentils. And of course, there's also things like the Beyond Burger or the Impossible Burger, which are pretty much like meat. How would you say? They're kind of like substitute meats, and they're pretty much trying to mimic the taste, the flavor, and the appearance of meat. So when you buy something like the Beyond Meat, Beyond Burger, or the Impossible Burger, that is going to be pretty much like, I mean, it's going to taste exactly like a burger. If you go for a veggie burger or a black bean burger or something like that, it's not going to taste exactly like a regular beef burger. It's just not. And it's still going to be good. And obviously you can still put it on a bun and put all your toppings on it, but it's not going to taste exactly like a regular burger. So if you're really looking for that full authentic burger experience, I would highly recommend that you get something like the Beyond Burger or the Impossible Burger, because those are going to taste identical. And when I say identical, I mean identical, guys. Like they literally have beet juice in it so that it bleeds in some cases, okay? Like it's crazy. You can cook it to different temperatures, like it's just wild, okay? So you can actually buy the Impossible Burger and the Beyond Burger at several places. Right now, a lot of fast food places are even selling it. Two most notable examples are Carl's Jr. They have the Beyond Burger, and it is really well reasonably priced. It's like the famous Beyond Star. And it is so good. And also Burger King now owns the Impossible Burger. So they have the Impossible Burger as well. So if you have a Burger King or a Carl's Jr. anywhere near you, right off the bat, you can automatically just go get some fast food like a non-GMO vegan burger. And they are so good, guys. They're both honestly delicious and they both taste exactly like meat, okay? Like, I'm not joking. I had some of my family members try this because, you know, they've always been kind of skeptical about my whole vegan lifestyle. I don't really think they understand what I actually eat, and I think they're kind of hesitant to even believe that it's as good as what they're eating, you know? And I finally convinced them not too long ago to actually try I think it was the Beyond Burger from Carl's Jr. And they were shocked at how delicious it was and how it tastes exactly like a regular burger. And they even started saying like, wow, I think I'm just gonna start getting this now, because it's like, yeah, if you can eat the exact same food and it's gonna taste exactly the same, you're gonna get the exact same satisfaction out of it. Why would you eat the animal option? You know what I mean? Like, why? It's just not necessary. So let me tell you, if you want to have a vegan burger, it's really, really easy now. It's so accessible. And if you're not trying to go buy it from a fast food place, you can definitely also make it yourself. I would highly recommend that you do that. You can buy the Impossible Burgers and the Beyond Burgers at a lot of different grocery stores now. And you can also buy packs of regular veggie burgers, or, you know, just whatever you really want. You can try out different kinds and see which ones you like best, because sometimes maybe you're not in the mood for just like a regular, like, quote unquote beef substitute patty. You know, maybe sometimes you would want something like the veggie burger, but you can try different ones and see what you or your family likes. That's really one of the main things with the burgers, obviously, is that you need a substitute for the actual patty. The only other things you'd really run into that are not vegan are, of course, cheese and mayo. So that's a fair warning. If you are going to be getting a vegan burger, make sure that you tell them no cheese and no mayo, because automatically a lot of these burgers do come with cheese and mayo, or at least one of the two. So you want to make sure that you tell them, hi, like, I want a Beyond Vegan Star, or I'm sorry, it's like a Beyond Famous Star, and I want it with no cheese and no mayo, because if not, you're gonna get a vegan patty but with cheese and mayo, so it's only gonna be vegetarian, it's not gonna be vegan. So just be aware of that if you are ordering out. That being said, if you're making your own burger, you can add cheese and mayo, but you just have to get the non-dairy vegan cheese and vegan mayo. Again, sometimes the bread will maybe contain eggs or milk, but again, it's just a matter of turning it around and trying to find an option that doesn't have it, because there will be an option. It just might take you looking at more than one hamburger bun, but I think it's worth it, obviously. It's just like, takes maybe 30 seconds more of effort, but it's worth it to make sure that you're actually getting a definite 100% plant-based meal. So I do have 2 more favorite meals that I'm going to go through today. I was planning on doing 10, but this video is already getting so long, so I think I'm gonna do part 1 and part 2. So stay tuned for part 2. If you guys do want the part 2, make sure that you give this video a big like so that I can make sure that I know you for sure want it, and I'll make it sooner if that's the case. But before I go on, I just want to say real quick, I'm also going to have a link in the description below to a bunch of recipes that you guys can use. Other than just what I'm telling you, these are specific recipes that I have used or that I like from Pinterest, and I'm making a whole Pinterest board just for recipes for these things. You guys can definitely go click on it and see the specific recipes so you can get a little bit more detail if you'd like, or more inspiration for maybe different kind of vegan sushi rolls, or even plant-based burgers that you can make yourselves, or different plant-based pizzas or whatever. So just keep in mind that that link is going to be in the description below if you guys want to check that out as well. All right, guys, that being said, let's go on to the second to last fave thing that we are going to be veganizing today, and that is wings. All right, so once again, wings. Everyone loves wings, don't they? I mean, I see so many people eating wings all the time. You go to the wing shacks, you go to the wing stops, I don't know what they're called. All of the places with wings, at least I know where I'm from, they're pretty popular. I mean, again, I think it's just kind of one of those American things, right? Especially if you're watching sports or whatever, like people are into eating wings and having a beer maybe, or whatever you're into. And yeah, I mean, just people really like wings, even with the side of your pizza, right? Like people will order wings with that. Wings is a big thing that, again, people like. Some people, that's their favorite food, and they're not cheap, by the way. They're usually not cheap. So, I mean, it's really something that it's like, you'd probably be paying less if you're eating plant-based wings. So let's talk about how can you possibly make wings vegan, right? It's literally a chicken wing. Like, how can you make that vegan? So let me tell you, there's a couple of ways, okay? So first of all, let's talk to you about buying vegan wings. So a lot of places now, fortunately, because veganism and vegetarianism is becoming so much more popular, a lot of places do offer vegetarian or vegan options. Most of the time, this is going to be in the form of maybe a tofu wing or a cauliflower wing. Cauliflower buffalo wings are super popular because cauliflower is able to kind of mimic the texture of a chicken wing. Now, I know that sounds weird. Like, if you're just thinking of like a raw cauliflower, that probably seems like, ew, gross. Like, what do you mean? But let me tell you, until you try it, don't knock it, all right? It's good. Like, it's so good. And you get the exact same texture. Again, you get that exact same flavor profile and that exact same fix from a cauliflower wing. It's so, so good. So, yeah, that's probably one of the first things is just go to your regular wing place and just ask them, like, hey, do you have cauliflower wings? Do you have like a non-meat wing at all? And you probably will maybe be able to find at least some place near you that has it. Now, if you're in a smaller city, or, maybe you don't have as many vegetarian vegan options in your city in general, maybe that's not the case. I know here, for example, where I live, I don't live in a very big city, but it's moderately big. And we actually have vegan places here that are completely vegan, that literally make vegan wings that are like, I mean, you would not know the difference. I mean, it tastes exactly like a regular wing. And I don't even really know what those are made out of. I think they may be made out of seitan, or I don't know. Really? The cool thing about vegan wings is you can kind of make them out of anything. It's kind of just up to you how much effort you want to put into. So I'm just going to say that I feel like the simplest ways to make it, if you're just a beginner and you're trying to make them yourself, is to use either cauliflower or tofu. You can also use tempeh as well. That's probably pretty easy too. Actually, my roommate the other day just made like fried tempeh and it was so good. And I was thinking like, wow, this could be a really good wing if you just put some buffalo sauce or whatever your favorite sauce is or like seasoning on it. Yeah, really, it's just as simple as like if you're using cauliflower, chop it up into like bite-sized pieces that look like, I guess wing size. If you're using tofu, same thing. If you're using tempeh, same thing. You can also use seitan. So whatever meat substitute you're using, just chop it up into wing-sized pieces. And from there, you're pretty much just going to batter and fry it. So prepare some oil, heat it up on the stove. And from there, you're gonna wanna put the batter onto your cauliflower or onto your tofu or whatever you're using. And pretty much, usually you're just gonna be using flour, non-dairy milk, and some kind of egg substitute, and possibly some kind of breading, like if you want panko or something like that, but it's honestly not even necessary. Like even just using flour, eggs, and milk, you can already get that kind of batter consistency that's going to put the breading on the outside so that it's like an actual wing. So again, that's kind of up to you. You can also add other seasonings to that as well if you'd like. You can definitely check out the recipes that I'm going to have linked and maybe take one of those if you want to try something a little more specific. Obviously, I know I'm just kind of giving you general directions, but you can find very specific recipes in that link down below. So it's really that simple though. I mean, all you need to do is just get your tofu, get your cauliflower, whatever it is, dip it in the batter, and then put that in the skillet to fry. And once it's golden brown, you take it out and then you can just toss it with your favorite sauce. You can also bake it. I've seen a lot of people do like baked cauliflower bites or things like that. It's really just kind of up to you, but I would say obviously a lot of the times it's fried. Typical wings at least are fried. So if you want like that authentic experience, I would recommend frying it. But yeah, if you get your favorite buffalo sauce or, again, whatever sauce you prefer or whatever seasoning you prefer, guys, it's going to be delicious. And once again, like you can dip it in some vegan ranch. Yes, that's a thing. You can make your own or you can buy it. I would just recommend buying it. It's a lot easier. You can just buy non-dairy ranch and it tastes exactly the same once again. And get your whole fix, put some celery and some carrots on the side and boom, you got yourself some delicious vegan wings. All right, guys, so the last thing that we are going to be talking about today, the last fan favorite meal that we are going to be talking about today, your favorite meal that you can make vegan, is tacos. So tacos are so delicious. As someone that grew up in a Mexican household, I have eaten a lot of tacos in my life, and I of course am especially appreciative of them. But I know people all across the world love tacos because they're so good and they're so versatile. So the beautiful thing about tacos is that there's really no substitutes that you need to make for anything because all tacos are different. Now, obviously, I know a lot of tacos do contain meat. You can make chicken or, beef, or there's literally a gazillion different types. I know there's literally tacos that are made from like animal insides, various different things. And if you're someone who does like that, there are solutions for you, okay? Now, of course, the easiest way to make tacos vegan is just to not use meat. So use some sort of other protein instead, like maybe use beans, you can use potatoes, you can use something like tofu or seitan or tempeh. You can use other vegetables like squash. You can use cauliflower. Once again, like your options are kind of endless. As far as different combinations, like just think about what you already kind of like, like it can be as simple as just putting some beans, some potatoes, and some, salsa on top. Or you can go super extravagant and make some really, really interesting like cauliflower mango tacos or whatever your heart desires, right? You can get super creative with this. As far as tortillas, obviously, normally you're going to use corn tortillas for tacos, and those of course do not contain anything that is not vegan, so you don't have to worry about that. Same thing with flour tortillas, those are usually vegan as well. So even if you are using a flour tortilla, which you probably shouldn't be for tacos, you should probably just be using corn tortillas. But I know sometimes the smaller tortillas now, they're made with corn and flour, so don't worry about that. You can get whatever tortillas your heart desires. And from there, yeah, like I said, all you need to do is pick your toppings. And the beautiful thing about them is that you can make a gazillion different types of tacos. There's so many different kind of combinations you can make. Now, if you are someone who you're like, no girl, I need some meat on there, okay? I need my meat fix. I cannot just give that up. Well, there are solutions for you, girl, okay? I promise. So this is what you gotta do. You gotta buy some vegan meat alternatives, okay? And so I know I already mentioned tempeh and tofu and seitan and all of those things. And by the way, seitan and tempeh, if you've never heard of those are just other meat alternatives. They kind of have different textures than something like tofu, let's just say, but it's the same kind of thing. It's just a meat substitute. But there are other things that you can use as well that will give you a lot more, I guess, bang for your buck as far as like a real spot on meat alternative. So the first thing is jackfruit. So if you don't know what jackfruit is actually this gigantic tropical fruit. I'll put a picture of it so you guys can see it. It's wild looking. It has like spikes on it. It's green. It's crazy. And they're gigantic. Like they're very big. They can get very, very big. But you are not going to want to buy that, okay? Do not go buy a jackfruit because you're going to be very frustrated. They're very hard to get open. They're very hard to tear apart. What you want to do is you want to buy jackfruit that's either in a can or in some sort of pouch. A lot of the times they even sell like already seasoned and flavored jackfruit. But pretty much, if it's already like shredded, you just want to boil it a little bit in water and then you're going to season it or put sauce on it or whatever you want. And pretty much it's like pulled pork. I would say that that's the closest thing to jackfruit. It's pretty much like pork. So if you're someone who likes pork in your tacos, then you're definitely going to want to maybe try jackfruit. Now, if you're not trying to go for jackfruit, there are also many other options as well. And that is in the form of just general like frozen meat alternatives. So my favorite brand for meat alternatives is Gardein. Okay, guys, their stuff is so good. Remember I told you earlier that like the vegan burgers, you cannot tell the difference. This is the exact same thing, okay? And they have a whole range, like an entire line of meat alternatives. Like they have ground beef, they have crispy chicken, they have grilled chicken, they have pork, they have fish, they have turkey cutlets. Like they have so many different options. You can definitely find something that you can put in your tacos. Like if you're trying to have a nice fish taco and you're just like, girl, I'm sorry, I have to have a nice fish taco, go get some of those fish cutlets that are fish free and are gonna taste exactly the same, okay? And you can literally just pop them in the oven or pop them on the skillet for a couple of minutes and they're gonna be warm and nice and ready for you to eat and you will not be disappointed, okay? I promise. Like Gardein is literally like, it is so clutch, especially if you're just transitioning to a vegan lifestyle. You are going to miss some of those foods. I know you are. And so, you know, it's okay. Like you can still have your chicken, but it's not chicken, you know what I mean? You can still have your fish and your turkey and your beef or whatever, but it's not really animals. It's just gonna taste exactly like that. And the cool thing about Gardein too is that most of their products are non-GMO, so you know that it's good quality ingredients. So yeah, Gardein is super clutch. You can again find this at like so many different grocery stores. I know that they have them at Walmart. I know they have them at Sprouts. I've seen them at Whole Foods. And even if you don't get the Gardein brand, there's usually other brands as well that are pretty much the exact same idea. And again, you can kind of experiment with them. Maybe you're gonna like some brands over others, but honestly, usually I would say at least that those kind of meat alternatives that are vegan are pretty reliable and usually taste like very similar to the original things. So again, it's really just a matter of looking a little bit more. If you're gonna be making tacos, you know, like just decide that I'm gonna make vegan tacos. And again, like I will include recipes down below so you can get more inspiration for different kinds of vegan tacos that you can make. But it's really just a matter of being aware of it and just putting that little bit of extra effort. Now, again, same thing with the tacos. You can usually also buy vegan tacos from different places. And sometimes it is as simple as just saying, hey, can you just make me a bean taco instead of including meat, you know, or whatever you want. Even at Taco Bell, you can get vegan tacos literally because they have a whole vegetarian menu now. And all you have to do is just say no cheese, right? Or no sour cream. And you have a vegan taco. You can even ask for like vegan Taco Bell and order a regular taco and just say, can I have beans instead of beef? And they will do it. It's literally that simple. Like I've done it before. It's that easy. You just, again, it's just like a little bit of extra effort, you know, just a tiny bit. It's really nothing crazy, I promise. So yes, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this and I really hope that it helps some of you guys. Are any of these foods your favorite foods? Let me know in the comments down below if they are, and if not, what are your favorite foods? What should I include in the next episode? I did have a list of 5 other things that I was gonna include, but I would love to instead include things that you guys suggest because I wanna know what are your favorite foods? Like, what do you want to know how to make vegan? Because I would be happy to break it down for you guys, happy to go through the recipes for you guys. I want to know, please let me know in the comments down below, okay? And maybe, just maybe, it'll be included in part 2. I am wishing you all the encouragement in your vegan journey, wherever you are in that, whether you are actually going vegan, whether you're just going vegetarian, or even if you're just trying to incorporate more plant-based meals into your lifestyle. I encourage you and I applaud you, and you are doing amazing, okay? I'm rooting for you. And obviously, once again, if you are into this kind of content, please make sure you do like this video and you do subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. It means so much, and it's a free way that you can support me and my dreams of making content for the world. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing your messages and hearing your thoughts about all of these things. Please do not forget to click that link down below in the description as well, so you can get all the recipes and inspiration for these meals and things that I have discussed with more specific ingredients and recipes, so that you can make sure that you're making some amazing, delectable meals, okay? Pinterest never fails. Like, for real, Pinterest is the plug for vegan recipes, okay? Just saying. Thank you all so much again for tuning in and for sticking to the end. I'm sending you all the good energy and love and good plant-based vibes, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!